Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and I'm here with my special guest from the Big 12 Mafia, Mr. Nathan Bomber Brown. And if you love
How
college
we
football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football or the Big 12 Mafia show. What's up, Bomber? How you doing, man?
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there. I was just going to say Happy
All
New
good.
Year. It's good to see you.
Yeah, happy New Year, my man. Good to see you too. There's old Unc in there, and Sergeant Pickles. Good luck
I
tomorrow,
know
man. How's
there's
everybody doing?
those guys following me around. Sooner Lemon, I haven't seen for a while.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah. Where is those Sooner Lemon? I haven't
I
seen them
don't
in a
know.
while
I
either.
don't know. I'm
Yeah, there
glad
you
Pickles is here. There's Monkey. These
go.
are good guys, Jason.
Yeah, man. And yeah, Pickles is actually he shows up quite a bit to our show lately.
Excellent.
So it's been good. Mr. Monkey says haven't had the pleasure yet, but welcome to the show, everybody. And we're here to talk a little bit about, well, first and foremost, we're going to talk about this college football playoff national championship game starting tomorrow night. Who, obviously big game. I think that a lot of folks had picked maybe Washington, but I don't think as many folks were picking Michigan in this championship game. Myself, I think that I wasn't. So I figured Washington would get in there. Michael Penix, what a freaking amazing performance against Texas the other day. And I said it before, and I was going to get your opinion on this as well. I don't know that Texas would have lost to either of the other two opponents in here. I think that they matched up where they matched up the best was against Michigan or Alabama. Their deficiencies in the secondary and then the ability of the Washington Huskies to pick apart, I think, anybody when you don't put pressure on Penix has been the difference. And I thought that was the one team that I was almost positive that Washington was going to win that game. Had Texas drawn one of the other two, I don't know that they would have. So what do you guys think? What do you think about that?
Um, First of all, I think Vegas still has Michigan as a favorite, unless
Yeah,
I'm
they do.
wrong. They was like 5-3 or something the other day. Um, in my opinion, I think Washington match is a bad matchup for all three of those teams. Now, the Michigan does have a better defense, obviously. So the whoever wins in the trenches, and if Michael Penix gets time, and as everybody saw, he's got the fastest release time that I believe ESPN had ever measured. By the time he gets the ball up to throw it, it's already gone.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is it's obvious the people from the East Coast did not watch him play all season. In fact, I don't think they watched him play last season at all because he's the exact same player that it seems like people don't give him credit. He puts the ball in windows that nobody else in college football do it. In fact, I think he could be on the Seahawks tomorrow, and they might get a playoff spot because of him. So
Yeah.
he's just a special player, and we'll have to see. Michigan is the worst matchup for him because they can control the ball, and if they keep Penix off the field, they will win the national championship.
You got to keep Penix off the field for sure. I think
Yeah.
that when it comes to this game, and what's up there, Sooner Legends? My bad. I didn't mean to. You aren't invisible. You are. We see you all the time. It's our boy Mike from Sooner Legends podcast. He's been doing a lot of really cool work lately too. So I've been excited about that. No,
Cool.
glad for all you new guys that are in here. Make sure that you get to both channels. Hit that like button. That's a big important deal for us. So yeah, look, when the best quarterback you faced is Kyle McCord, Michigan DBs have not seen anything like this. By the same token, the Huskies haven't seen a rush like this. Yeah, I think that that's the case. And I think that if you're Michigan, this poses a problem for you that you really haven't seen. I think that you've seen a passing offense like this, but yeah, if it was CJ Stroud out there throwing the ball like it was last year, and I think a lot of these guys have seen that a year ago, but it's been over a year. That being said, yeah, their defense is going to be, I think it's definitely better in the secondary. I think that it's better. I don't know that it's necessarily better up front than what Texas had, but I will say that that they've, because I think that the metrics even I don't love Michigan's schedule all year, you know.
No, the Big Ten, until next year. Next year, the Big Ten is going to be a different conference. You add USC,
Right.
Washington, Oregon to the Big Ten next year. It's a whole different conference. But the way it stands today, they really only have 4 tough games a season, and they don't even play all the teams every year. So Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State, right? And then you have other
Mhm.
schools that can stand up and flash. Wisconsin flashes, Michigan State flashes. But Iowa's defense is really the only thing that is scary. So I just think it's something that is really, look, defense wins championships. If Coach was on here, I'm sure that's what he would say. So
Yeah,
I'm a
no,
defensive guy, but
yeah.
I think Washington's offense is just superior.
We did talk about that a little bit on the last show we were talking, or just kind of going over what we saw in the semifinal game. And I think that this may be one of those times, and he was saying the same thing, that this might be one of those times that it's just a little different. I was talking about what I saw in the Washington Texas game. Styles make fights. We talk about that a lot in college football. Styles make fights. The point I was making is I don't think that Texas would have struggled that same way with Michigan or Alabama, because neither one of them had a quarterback that was going to test the secondary, which is their weakest part, like the way that Penix was. When you have and they have the best wide receiver core in the country as well. And when you start talking about Roma Doomsday, who the hell's going to cover this guy?
There's
Who's
3
gonna
of them.
cover?
They
Yeah.
have 3 Roma Aduze. They have 2
I don't know that there's 3
running back.
Roma Doomsday guys, but there's 3 that are really, really good. You know what I mean? I agree
we'll
that they're as good and as a trio of receivers that as you're gonna get. And then I also think that the tight end, the Washington, with what's his name? I can't believe I blew his name. It's Westover.
Nichols,
Yeah,
he'll tell you.
Westover. Westover. It's Westover. That dude's a stud too.
Yeah.
Imagine if he played football for more than just a few years, right?
Right.
Anyway, I just feel like it's going to be one of those. Hey, I hope Mike didn't get too upset or something. Mike disappeared on us. Dang, man.
Why? Who did?
I guess I didn't say hi to him quick enough. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. Sooner Legends. No, there he is.
Yeah.
Sooner Legends. We're with
Jack
you, bro.
Westover. There you go. Pickles just
Jack
told you.
Westover. That's right. Blocks like a monster in his clutch on third down. He's a stud. He's a stud, man. And he's the kind of guy. And correct me if I'm wrong, Pickles. He's only played football for a couple of years. I think he played like 1 year of football organized before he got to Washington. It's like something crazy like that. Anyway, when you look at this offense, I think that it's kind of, and I don't think that they're terrible on defense. I just don't think that they're Michigan. I don't think that they're Alabama or even Texas when it comes to that. But in the secondary, they've got a couple of guys that are pretty good. Again, I don't see that Michigan is really gonna give them that hard of a time throwing the ball. I think that McCarthy's better than you would have gotten out of Jalen Milroe, but I don't think that. But I don't think that they're going to test that secondary the same way. Go ahead.
Let's talk. Say the exact same game happens that Michigan played against Alabama, and then that was an overtime game. Now you add a quarterback who can actually throw the ball, and the only play he can do is a quarterback draw. Yeah. Now what does that game look like? So then just project a week, because really there's no differences in the two teams, and I don't know why you'd see a different outcome. Alabama should have beat Michigan. If they had a quarterback that could throw the ball, that would have been a different game. So I realized it's just like everybody last year. Remember how everybody talked about Michigan's offensive and defensive lines against TCU? Remember how we heard that for 3.5 weeks, how that was going to be a blowout victory for Michigan. Michigan's big, tough, and going to push around the Big 12 champion, all this other crap. And what happened? Michigan got bow raced. They ended up losing by a touchdown and a half. So we're a year in the future. It's East Coast bias. I'm telling you right now, Washington's going to win by 10 plus.
Wow. You heard it here,
that
folks.
On my show yesterday.
Well, right on. He's been saying 10 plus. Tell us what you guys feel, what you think here in the comment section. Let us know what are your scores. Give us a prediction as well. I've been looking at it all week, and I think that the one thing that I would worry about that is this. I almost feel like this Michigan team is a bit of a team of destiny, and I do think that they're gonna turn the game into. They're gonna try to turn the game into just a fist fight, because that's the game that they can win. If you're obviously not going to turn it into you're obviously not going to turn it into a shootout. You're going to get killed that way.
See,
right?
Sergeant Pickles is correcting me. Washington doesn't win by more than one possession. So, and he watches them. He watches them way more detailed than I do. So I would defer to him. But really, I'm feeling this is a big. I think there's big mismatches in there. I really do.
Look, I think there is, but I also, and here's where if I'm picking Washington, it's because of this. It's because of the same reason that I picked them against Texas. That as good as that defensive line may be for Michigan, it's not going to get through that offensive line of Washington. This is an offensive line that doesn't allow him to get hit. And not only that, but Penix does get rid of the football quickly. Yeah. And they're not going to put him in positions to get hit very often. Now,
you saw last week, he had some slight movement, right? It's not like he's outranging like Lamar Jackson. All his movement is between the tackles. You'll have somebody come and Sweat had a couple free runs at him. He basically just did a touche, went right around him, and then threw the ball down for 35, 40 yards like it was a screen pass. I haven't seen anything like that since Kurt Warner came out that blowout year in 1999 for the Rams. That was the last time I saw a quarterback that basically was looking at a defense like it was Tinker Toys.
And you're not wrong. I mean, you look at it, and I haven't seen a guy that's been this accurate in a long time. And he made some throws against Texas that, to be honest, the Texas secondary kind of played well, better than I expected them to. And he was just fitting footballs in places that only his guy was going to catch it, and some of the catches that Roma Dunze made, I mean, they're advanced in that, I've talked about this. In fact, we were talking about this with, where receivers are so advanced these days that they weren't sticking their hands out until right when the ball gets there, So if you're not one of those secondary players that can sit and eye the football and still have your, bearings about you of where the defender or where the receiver's at, then you're in trouble, because if you're just sitting there, just running with the receiver, they're not going to let you know when the ball's coming.
Right.
Because it'll be there whenever, they're just going to pop their hands out at the last second. They are really that good, man.
Well, and really how many pass interferences did we have last week? I think 2 or 3.
Yeah.
The reason they had to do PI is because it was going to be touchdown if they didn't basically tackle him before the ball came in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the one thing I'll say is that you can't. I didn't understand what happened at the end. Now I get it that you needed a first down, but I didn't understand why you were running the ball to get that first down there. I mean, you hadn't stopped you all day throwing it.
And the injury they would have been with 2 seconds left if he didn't get hurt, fall on the ground. And that's a stupid rule in college football that should be immediately amended. They need to do something that it's like a 25-second runoff or something like that. If you have a player that got hurt, that you don't want to use a timeout to stop the clock. That's the thing. So you give them basically a free timeout. And what that does is that allows Texas to stay on the field for 2 or 3 more plays.
See, I think that if it was Texas that got somebody hurt there is a runoff.
No, I'm saying it should be for either of them. I think it should be for either. Whoever.
Because Texas was obviously out of timeouts at that point.
It would have put them out of timeouts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and when they're running that, they run that drag on 3rd down on the other end of the field, and he throws it out of bounds, basically. If he would have just held on to it, they're going to go out and kick a field goal anyway. Mm-hmm. Why not do that? That was another one where you lost 40. Every time, if people don't know, every down is 40 seconds unless you call timeout. Every play is 40 seconds. At the 2-minute warning, if you get a first down, game's over if you don't have any timeouts. So that's what we were looking at here. And college football needs to change. And they also need to make PI a spot penalty. This idea that you can tackle a guy that's basically free for a touchdown if he gets 2 steps and you tackle him and it's only 15 yards. I mean, what? Remember the old holding penalties? Penalties for holding used to be wherever the spot foul was. So a holding penalty could be 25 yards. Right. In college football, that's ridiculous. They need to make these NFL style rules and bring them in and change.
Well, they keep doing it with everything else, right? And so with the clock being able to run the way it does up until the last 2 minutes, but I mean, then you get. Of course, you're always going to have coaches trying to test the edge of those rules, and do things the way they can, trying to win the game. In the end, I think you have to have a runoff of time whenever if you have. Texas is out of timeouts, and even if a Washington kid gets hurt, like happened, I think that you have to still run that clock.
I agree.
I think you should in that situation. But then, I mean, it is what it is. In the end, I think that this is going to be, I'm looking dapper this evening. Really? Thanks.
I don't look dapper in my UW jersey.
The UW jersey doesn't look so good, according to those Sooner legends.
I'm okay. I'm a split personality. I can do Washington one week and BYU the next.
Yeah, I get it. Well, you grew up right around there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I own both those. Nobody's gonna tell me how to be a cheerleader.
Yep. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Thank you for everybody for that. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Yeah, listen. First to 30 wins. I think that 30 might be a little high. I think that this it could be a real, and I think somebody was putting up there earlier, it may have been Joe, that Michigan is going to shorten this game. I think this is their only chance of winning is they have to shorten this game. So it's that's where I would be. That's where I would be on it.
I just don't know if Michigan can score enough points. If they don't even make it a somewhat slodgy game, very slow. If Michigan is a lot of 3 and outs, Washington's going to boat race them. It won't be 10 points. It'll be 30 points. Like Oregon puts points on people. That's how they get them. They get them on the ground. If Washington doesn't, Washington had 2 fumbles in that game. Or is it 1 fumble? They gave away a clear opportunity to get a touchdown. I mean, stuff like that Washington plays pretty clean. Now, the one thing they don't do is they have penalties all over the place. They're the worst penalized team I've ever seen, I think. Yeah. So that's the one area. If DeBoer gets them cleaned up on that, really, it's could be something else. People ought to buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think that there's, I don't know. I think that the few times that I've seen, because I can't watch the Big 10 football that much, man. It just drives me crazy. Because it's mostly just bad football. Now, I watched the games with Penn State. I watched Ohio State, and then I've gone back this week and kind of looked at some more of what they do. I think that JJ McCarthy can throw the ball a lot more than people really give him credit for. They just don't do it very much. They just don't do it very much. And I think he was banged up for a little bit as well. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Again, let's talk about JJ McCarthy. One, he hasn't had to play a lot of tough games in 2 years. He's 21-1 or something, 27-1. But who are out of all those games? How many is he up against top 10 defenses? TCU beat him with a top 25 defense last year. And then let's talk about the first play against Alabama.
But Ohio State had a top 5 defense this year.
And I'm saying there's been a handful. I didn't say he didn't have any. I'm just saying It's not like every team he's gone out after has been, top of the line on defense. He threw that pick against Alabama.
I think the Alabama defense is definitely. I mean, you saw what the final score was. I mean, it wasn't much, and that was with overtime.
No, all I'm saying is McCarthy tends to throw the ball away. He should have had.
He does, but
2 picks.
Where I would say that I know that he can hit them is because I look back to the game last year against Ohio State at the Shoe when they took a close game and turned it into a rout, him hitting deep balls.
That's true.
And so you definitely, if you're loading up the box against him, he has a good enough arm to beat you. right? And it's Michigan. They're going to have good enough receivers to be able to do it too. I just wouldn't go too crazy about now. Is their receiving core like Washington's? No, no.
No.
But I think that if you can slow the game down enough to where, and you can get Washington into the box, you get 7 or 8 guys in the box, you're at an advantage now because they're thinking run, they're thinking run. Now you can hit them deep. And do I believe that Washington can stop them on the run? I don't know that they can. They really didn't stop Texas in the running game last weekend. Texas stopped themselves with a couple of fumbles.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that Washington's got the strongest defense. What I'm saying is whoever wins this game is going to have the best offense. I don't think it's going to be a best defense game. So if they can match Washington's 90-second scores, if they can stay up with them and make this a 45-42 game, then I do believe Michigan can win it.
Well, if it goes to 45-42,
if it
goes to 45-42, I think Michigan's screwed. I think if you keep it in the 20s, I think Michigan wins.
Okay, so Wet Blanket's here, and I love Wet Blanket. He's a stud.
I'm not a fan of Wet Blanket, to be quite honest.
Go back to that. Go back to that comment. Go back to that comment. Michigan is going to bulldoze Washington. Okay, let's jump back 365 days and go back to that comment and say Michigan is going to bulldoze TCU. And how did that work out? I just don't think they're going to score enough points to stay up with Washington.
Okay.
Unless Penix gets hurt or there's some catastrophic thing with turnovers, I just don't see how they can score enough points to stay up with Washington.
We're gonna see. The more I look at it, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think you probably end up somewhere at 27-24, 28-21.
If it's 27-24, Michigan wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give you that for sure. Yeah, but if it's over 30, I think Washington wins.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that once it gets over 30, you're more in the hands of Washington. No doubt about it. Yeah. No doubt about it. But and I have felt like Washington. I don't know, man. As I said, I also feel like this is kind of one of those deals where everybody is super against Michigan, all this cheating talk and everything else, and they shouldn't be there.
Michigan. That's not really the same as saying that they're against them playing.
Well, I said it before, though. That's the thing, is everything that, even the last 4 games that they've played, 4 or 5 games that they've played, you still have people screaming and yelling that they're there. Yeah, I get that. But the truth is they haven't had anybody's signals for most of this season. We know that. And they're still kicking everybody's ass. They weren't supposed to beat Alabama. I have a hard time picking against them just because of the fact I believe that they, in a different way than what we saw out of Texas last weekend. Texas was right there with them. I think that Washington controlled the game until they let it get out of hand on their own at the end. But I do think that this is a different type of deal. I think that Michigan will stick to that running game and slow the game down enough that all they have to do is make a couple of stops, really. If you can make a couple of stops, and here's one thing, I think here's the deal. Michigan cannot afford to get behind. Do not get behind more than a touchdown or you're screwed, right? I don't see it being a high scoring game though. I think I think Michigan wins. I think it's going to be like 27-24. I think that's going to be what it is. We're going to be opposite here, guys. We're going to be opposite here on this one. Which
okay.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Nobody wants to watch a show where everybody agrees with each other. That's what it should be.
Agree. And look, I'm kind of with everybody. I would not bother me at all if Washington won. I don't give a crap about Michigan at all.
Well, they kind of did that to themselves, right? This cheating scandal is real. We're going to find out after the game, whoever wins, we're going to find out that Harbaugh's gone. He's going to be in the NFL next year. We've been saying that for months. And that him being on the outs means Michigan is going to end up with the USC penalties. I think the cheating thing was real, and I think we're going to find that out in time. Unfortunately, it wasn't quick enough to get done before the playoffs started.
but it could have been. That's the whole thing. Is if that's
I
if
agree.
that was,
You and I are on the
think
same
that,
page there.
yeah, when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I gotta say this, I'm gonna say this again. I said this on my last live, but cheating in sports, it's tough for me to buy into that. I mean, if it's golf, then and you're cheating by like writing down the wrong score, or you're moving the ball or doing something, that's cheating. To me, we're talking about stuff that happens all the time that could have been fixed a long damn time ago by just freaking putting, the communication stuff in the helmets. We don't have this problem, right? We also know that Ohio State had colluded with at least 4 other programs in the Big 10 to get Michigan signals. Nobody's talking about that, but that was going on too. So if you're going to do it, if you're going to do this and worry about what Michigan was doing, and I think more than anything, it was just stupid that they got caught. They weren't taking very good precautions for everything they were doing to get caught.
If you look at Michigan's records, though, before 2020 and after 2020, the win percentage is up an extra 50%. They score a bunch more points, and their defense is a lot stronger. And all these schools get 5-star athletes. Ohio State's the best recruiting school in the country, and yet they've lost to them. They've lost to them 2 or 3 years in a row.
But that could also be coaching, though. I don't think that Ryan Day's near the coach that Urban Meyer was.
Excusing cheating because everybody else does it, which is Michigan's defense. I think that's, in my opinion, that's weak. Because
well, you're not.
They were a lot.
It's been proven that they have been doing it as well, though.
Well,
so
I think
if they're all cheating, we know they're all cheating. They know that. I mean, it was out there that it was. I mean, it's known that. I mean, Michigan put it out there, the evidence that they had, the same way Ohio State threw it out there and started this whole thing to begin with. Because
I don't know that that's going to turn out to be true, Jason.
I think that we've seen that in any event. Here's the deal. It's like I said, I don't know that I believe that cheating is a real thing. I just don't believe that that's the thing. I think that if they really wanted to fix it, as I said, you can. And it's not like the money's not there. If you're getting $10 billion for your conference, which is, or what, $7 billion or whatever it is on this contract that they got with Fox.
It's just stupid.
Put the freaking speaker in the helmet. We're done with this. We're done with all this. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So but I also believe where I was getting at to start with all this is that, man, I think they almost feel like a team of destiny. They haven't lost. I mean, Harbaugh hadn't been around and they're still winning games fairly easily. I just feel like this is, they beat Ohio State without Harbaugh in the stadium.
Let me ask you this. If Georgia is playing against Michigan last week, who wins?
Georgia.
Okay. And if Georgia was playing against Washington,
Georgia should be in. You're going to get into this conversation?
the fifth best team, according to the savants that do these bowl games and championship games, the fifth best team is the one team not one of those schools wanted to play.
Sure.
So and
that's Kirby's fault for gagging against freaking Alabama again.
Well, again, it hadn't happened in 4 years or 3 years. So
he's 1-5. 1-5 against Nick Saban. 1-5.
No, that can't be right.
They
hadn't lost to him. Alabama,
maybe 1-6 now.
No, Georgia's been undefeated for two years plus.
The one time that he's beat him was in the national title game 2 years ago. That's it. He's lost every other time.
I
look it up. It's true.
It's not what I'm remembering. Okay, I will look it up. I could be wrong.
That is a fact.
Okay.
And Coach Isaac would hate to hear me say that, but he's got to stop gagging against freaking Alabama.
Well, at this point,
if you watch that game, there was things that I think they were out of character. Yeah,
I don't know what happened. And Jaden Milroe played out of his mind against Georgia. I don't know why, but they did. So, what is this? I know Washington on and off at least would embarrass UGA's overrated. UGA might win the game, but it's not 56-10. I don't know. Georgia's the scariest team in college football.
I think Georgia wins that game going away, probably. I don't think, because you're not going to be able to throw the ball like that against them. You're not.
All right, Purple went out and fact checked it. So thanks, Purple. I appreciate that.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure it's 5, but anyway. Any way you look at it, that's
the wet blanket.
He struggles against it, period. And I get it. I mean, hell, Nick Saban's only lost to one other coach that used to coach for him. And that was Jimbo Fisher. You know, he's the only other guy that's beaten him. Georgia barely beat Missouri. They said.
Where's Fisher going to be next year?
Okay, probably on his boat.
I don't know. I could see him. There's a few vacancies that are going to pop up, I think, that might be attractive. Michigan, hello, Michigan. If Harbaugh leaves, Jimbo Fisher to Michigan, I'm telling you, I'm starting the rumor now. That's what I think happens. I think Harbaugh leaves, and I think that Jimbo Fisher ends up in Michigan.
A lot of injuries, and allegedly Penix was puking between series. Whoa! What are we talking about here?
I don't know.
These guys are in here. LFG, I don't know who you're talking about. I'll talk ball with anyone, and I don't tell lies ever.
What lies? What are you talking about?
I don't know. He says that I don't know ball. I can talk ball with anybody, buddy. So,
okay.
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't just say stuff for the sake of saying it.
I can't. Who said that again? Bring that back up.
LFG. Which one?
LFG. I think I've seen LFG before. I tell you what, I challenge you.
On the viewers' right, not a ball knower.
You need to come on to Jason's show, and I would be happy to mediate, and let's talk some college football.
Yeah, because I know
I would love to have that conversation. Jason doesn't walk away from challenges. Guarantee you come on. You better have
more. You better come with more than some clown though, like freaking we've seen. You know, we've seen the guys that usually want to challenge are guys that are just going to start calling you stupid names whenever they don't.
Well, and I'm not saying that's what he's saying. What I'm saying is it's a lot harder to do it when you're doing it in front of people. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. This isn't, you guys might think this is, we just sat down, we were out mowing the lawn and decided to come in and do a show. We didn't spend any time on this stuff. So it's a lot harder than you think it is. I think I need to do a show where I go on Twitter and I say, I've got an hour. Let's sit down and talk.
One of you guys want to talk some
football. Yeah. Let's talk college football. Let's talk realignment. Let's have that conversation. Yeah. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. There's so many people smarter than I am in this stuff. But I'm just telling you, it's not very easy to do. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the ASU game. How come they didn't score on offense? Yeah, he was sick. And didn't he get hurt at some point during the middle of the season where it felt like he just wasn't really. But here's the thing to remember about all those is that they won all those football games, you know.
Right.
And that would be the other thing. The other thing that I would say about Michigan is they won all theirs. But I think that you definitely had a tougher go at it if you're Washington this year than what Michigan did. Except for the last couple of games.
Remember the Pac-12 had 7 ranked schools at one point. Now it didn't finish that way, but from the start, 7th ranked schools from the Pac-12 were in the top 25, and it was a gauntlet to get through. And Washington, oh, by the way, beat Oregon twice. And anybody else, that's another challenge. I would challenge any team to go into Eugene and play Oregon on a cool, wintry day and see what the score of that game is. That's not something you get out of bed and do either.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Which is why the Pac-12 falling apart and killing itself is just a travesty.
It is.
It's just a travesty.
Yeah, I agree with that. Multiple team injuries in the middle of the season. For example, McMillan didn't play a single conference game before the Pac-12 championship. Yeah, and he's looked great since he got back. Yeah, I think it's a tough out for either team. No matter.
Great game. It's gonna be a great game.
But like I said, look, talking about if we're going to get to talking about Georgia at all, Georgia had freaking 29 wins in a row, and they played a tougher schedule than anybody in the SEC.
How
and
did they
happened to lose against a team that matches up well with them. They're out. If there was, I love the Florida State stuff. I'm gonna say this again. Shut up, Florida State. That's enough out of you. I don't want to hear anything else about it because, and some of the things that I've heard about, you're all idiots if you think that there's not if you think there's a bad culture in the locker room. I'm going to tell you this. The culture in that locker room is not near as good as you think it is when that many guys opted out of the freaking game. And it's because of all the bitching that's been coming out of Florida State. If you're going to sit there and act like the freaking Orange Bowl doesn't matter, then what do you expect from them players? Why? So you could use it as an excuse to get beat by 60? I don't want to hear it.
This is what I would say about that. First of all, you and I are going to disagree on this thing. I'm
Sure,
a traditionalist. I think you know who I had in the Final Four? I had Michigan, Washington, but Michigan was in with an asterisk because I don't think they should have been playing. But fine, Michigan, Washington, Georgia, and Florida State. And the reason I would put Florida State in there is because they won out. And at the end of the day, this isn't a ratings championship. It's a football championship.
Okay.
So it's true that Alabama and Texas bring bigger numbers. Okay, that's
I
fact.
don't care about
You
that.
can't
I'm going
argue
to tell you,
that.
I don't think that they win the national championship or.
But that's
with
not
Gordon
ever been
Travis.
the judgment.
They don't
Jason,
win.
But that's never been the judgment. That's
Sure.
prejudging an outcome.
That's true.
When did college football become we're going to foreordain, we're going to predict who's going to win it just because you look at it?
I'll tell you when that happened. When you had the national championship game last year turn into a 60-point loss that nobody wanted to watch.
Okay,
I'm not telling you that it was right, and I'm not even telling you that I don't think. I'm not even telling you that I think that Florida State didn't get screwed, because I do think that there was, in some instances, the way you can put it that way, that they did get screwed.
Okay.
They handled it terribly, Bomber.
No, I agree with that. I agree with you.
They handled it absolutely terribly, Florida State did. And they're still handling it absolutely terribly. Instead of, look, I think that Bobby Bowden is rolling over in his grave that they didn't even care about the freaking Orange Bowl.
But they don't, but why should they care? What do they get out of it except for a few $1 million? They don't owe anybody anything. Look, Florida State. Hey, look, Florida State's got bigger things on their mind.
If you have the culture that they're acting like that they have, you get bragging rights of beating Georgia or not looking like a total disaster against Georgia.
I just don't. Tell me, and this is a different show. Talking about rebuilding the bowls and making it relevant again.
I don't care about rebuilding the bowls. I think
whatever it is.
I think that we've turned it into what we've turned it into because of. I mean, we could get into. There's a lot that could be talked about here.
My point is that the minute they were left out, they went to their boosters and they went to their board of regents, and they're talking about moving to the Big 10.
Sure.
They don't care about any of this stuff. And frankly, I would have turned it off too if I got screwed like that. The system killed Florida State's team, and asking them to show up to play to prove what? Why did they owe anybody anything?
They owed it to themselves. They owed it to themselves and to their own program. If they're going to sit there and bitch and complain and whine about it, and the only thing that I'm telling you is this: is I believe that their culture took a hit, and I love TJ Pittenger as much as the next guy. I think his show's fabulous. I think that he has gone way overboard with calling everybody morons that have questioned the culture inside that locker room.
Yeah,
because
not talking about
you
that
cannot tell me that them acting the way they have and showing their kids that it doesn't matter, and having that many 20-something guys opted out of the game.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you that that's a good culture in your locker room.
I'm not going to put an opinion out there about their culture and their history. You know, I just there's too much emotion tied up into it, and it's not a rational discussion. So, As far as I'm concerned,
Okay.
that's something
It's not a
everyone needs to
rational
figure out.
discussion. Okay, but in the end, like I said, whether or not you believe that they should have been there or not, and I mean, I can get on board with your arguments about why they should have been in the playoff.
Right.
Fairness it wasn't about fairness, that's for sure. I'm going to tell you, I will also tell you that I don't think there's any way in hell that Florida State wins that, even with Jordan Travis. But that's just me. That's my opinion, and I can give you that all day long.
Of course.
It doesn't mean that it's necessarily correct, but
no, I don't
think
disagree.
Their argument goes a lot further if they show up to play in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, the bowl games are broken. Anything outside the college football playoff games, in my opinion, are a complete waste of time. So in my opinion, I don't think a school or a team owes anybody outside of that locker room any mind.
Yeah.
So,
and here's what I'll say is the bowl system was trash long before now.
Of course
Here's the thing that happened.
It's been broken for 40 years, Jason.
Absolutely. And it's funny though, the weird thing about it is that the bowls originally began as what they really are, which is an exhibition.
And they were a bonus for the kids.
And nobody gave a shit.
To Florida,
and nobody gave a shit who won, who lost. It was a celebration game. You're generally playing in a sunny area. You're not freezing your ass off if you're Michigan.
So
no big deal.
This is what I said on Twitter about the bowl games. This is what I said. What I said is, if the bowl games are a reward, then give the players $10,000 to show up. They're the ones that are getting their heads kicked in. They gain nothing. They're not going to win a national championship. So give them $10,000, incentivize them to show up. Maybe their NILs will say, we'll match any money that you get from the bowl game that you go to. Each bowl game has a certain amount of money attached to it. So if you go to the Orange Bowl, you get $20,000 a player. If you go to the Hula Bowl, you get $2,000. And that's incentivizing these guys to finish strong, even if they're not in the college football playoff.
I agree.
That's the easiest way to get kids.
The only way to fix any of this is by, and I'm talking all of it, is you've got everybody complaining about opt-outs. You got everybody complaining about the transfer portal. You got all these complaints. Start sharing the money. Sharing the money, and then it all works itself out. And that's coming no matter what. Joey Zay, clearly you didn't watch the football game and you're just in here trolling on Oklahoma. You want to come on and talk to me about freaking Brent Venables and what he has and hasn't done? We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, shut up.
The other thing with the bowl games, I think Kirk Herbstreit, everybody saw his little rant about the bowl games, how he thinks anything outside the college football playoff is dumb and it should just go away. I replied to that with the list of the games, the viewership numbers for these bowl games. They were out of this world. For the weakest bowl, you were getting over 1 million views. For teams that were 5-7 and 6-6, you're getting 1.2, 1.3 million people. You know what playoff? You know what a World Series games gets? Like a playoff game, not a World Series, but a playoff game in Major League Baseball, it's like 2 million. NBA basketball games, they draw like nothing. Football is the only thing that drives money right now. And so a college basketball game, you did the metric on it. It's 4 times weaker than your worst college football game.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
And so, but him saying that it's dumb and they should go away and all this stuff, that's never going to happen. These companies are making way too much money. They just need to start sharing it with the players.
And that's when that's the one thing when they were. I don't know how many people had saw the On 3 with Andy Staples when he was talking about this. I thought it was great what he was saying. They were talking about what could Florida State do or what anybody could do, to kind of fix all these issues. And he was talking to a lawmaker in Florida actually. And he was like, you make a law that says the Bulls can now start paying players. When you do that, then now you've just opened it up all the way to the entirety of the country. because now you're going to have to compete for the bowl for the kids. They're going to come and play.
About it.
Yeah,
no doubt about
it. And look, make no mistake, this is an NCAA conferences, coaches, schools, all that. That's a problem that has been built at the highest level and continues to trickle down. The fact is, they're spending millions on lobbyists to not allow this to happen. As soon as you bring in collective bargaining and start splitting up some of this cash, then you can fix these issues. But until then, you're not gonna. And we've talked about this as a bunch, but yeah, I loved watching Oregon roll livery. It's broken. It can be fixed. It can be fixed, but only with that. And I agree. A lot of this kind of stuff, you're gonna have to. I think that, yeah. Let's see. What did he say? It was broken you can opt out as underclassmen. You can't enter the draft.
Yeah, there's ways. If you want to talk about how to get participation up for the bowls and all that, that's a different conversation, I think, from tonight, because the college football playoff is on Monday. But I would be happy to sit down on Jason's show or anybody's show, and we can talk about what those
I think that
fixes are.
it's a conversation that we've been having here,
right,
for sure. But I also think that I don't think that the conversation is being had enough. And I've been wanting to talk to a bunch of guys. Get guys like you and your crew on, Coach I and his guys. I think that we've got enough guys that are content creators all around that we could talk about what's real. But I think it's clear that at this point, this system is absolutely broken. And if you want these bowls to matter, I heard somebody say you're going to have to move them to August. I think that changes it, and they become. So what? The bowl games are for coming into the year. You're going to have seniors that graduated from the last year, and we're still going to make these games, quote unquote, matter. I don't really think that works either. I think you could do it by saying, the number 1 seed is going to complain. It is. Number 5 being left. It's not the same thing. But the point is the playoff is helping the part that most people care about, though, that you've upped it to 12, and it's gonna. I mean, what do you think? I think 16 is
16,
a couple
it
of
has
years
to be
away.
16.
I think it's a couple of years away, isn't it?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years away.
We'll know about it next year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to change, and it could have been 12 teams. It should have been a 12 team this year.
Yep.
Had it not been for the ACC, Florida State.
The world's changing because of realignment, and it's changing the way that participation is going to be for the bowl games. It's going to change the way they do NIL. Realignment is really what's driving all this angst and heartache at these schools. Florida State has been agitating to get out of the ACC for years. If you're following FSU, you got to know that it didn't just pop up 2 weeks ago. They've been working on this for years.
Oh yeah, no doubt
about it. And so all they did was need an excuse, and ESPN gave them the excuse. So now the only question is, where do they go? If they go to the Big 10, that's Fox. And there's a good chance Fox and Amazon or Fox and Apple buy the college football playoff from the NCAA. They might just buy it, and ESPN might lose everything. That's a risk right now in the real world. So these bowl games, they're not going to be fixed in 2 years. It'll be fixed once realignments, again, sort of settled down.
Mike, I like bowl games myself. I'm just saying that it's gotten to the point where nobody cares because it's not part of the national title picture anymore. And the way that it's been, this is all a money drive for ratings and everything else, and it's all been pointed towards these things. The playoffs they're going to have to be bowl games. Yeah, but not all of them are going to get in. That's the thing.
Right.
I mean, even when you get to 16, that's still, and maybe they go to this. We could get off into a huge conversation about where this is all headed, whether you're going to have a subdivision versus whatever. But and I think that's a big conversation part. But the truth is, I don't know that there's really a way to fix this completely other than to pay the players. If you don't make it incentivized for the players to play in it, you're not going to get to play. You're not going to get any more participation in it.
Jason,
You're
can
just
I
not.
say something really quick?
Please.
You look good tonight. No, I was just gonna
Oh,
say.
thanks, buddy.
But I want to let everybody know that we're dual streaming right now. The technology's got it that we're on different shows at the same time. If you're on Big 12 Mafia and you're not subscribed to Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame college football, I don't come on my channel because the content I do is exactly like Jason does. And I would encourage you guys, if you ever see people dual streaming, subscribe to both those guys. Follow them on Twitter. What we're doing out here is not, I mean, it's free to you, but for us, it takes work.
Not free to us. So. Definitely not free to us. Yep. And you can find us definitely there. As obviously you can see Bombers. Make sure if you're not already a channel subscriber to the Big 12 Mafia show, they have, and especially if you love or pay attention to any of the stuff with realignment, a lot of things that are going on in college football that aren't happening on the field, there's no better channel than Bombers. Period. They have the realignment folks. I mean, he's got the best. He's got the Godfather of realignment is on there. You're going to get Bob Thompson is Bob Thompson. You've got Jim Williams, who's been on the show a lot. He obviously been on our show as well. He talks to the people that are part of the conversation about realignment and what's going to happen next. And when you want to know about what's going to happen with these TV contracts and stuff, that's the channel to be on. No doubt about it.
Can I ask you a really quick question? Are you looking forward? Do you play video games? Are you looking forward to the NCAA 2024, whatever it's going to be, game?
It's kind of funny that it's I stopped playing video games when they got rid of that game.
Yeah, I haven't played a football game since Tecmo.
I like John Madden. I like Madden, but I don't like it enough to play it and continue playing it. I loved college football back. The college football video game was unreal good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to buy a new PlayStation because I do enjoy games. I just hadn't played it in a long time. I really haven't.
We're gonna put something together, Jason. I'm just teasing you with this. Matty Brown, do you know who Matt Brown is? He's kind of a video game, college football video game guy. He's going to be on our show next week, and we're going to be talking. Supposedly the announcement's going to be on Monday during the college football playoff final, right? But once it's announced, we're maybe thinking about throwing together some little professional leagues where we get some guys playing each other for different shows. And we'll make it some subscriber type things.
Okay.
And we're just gonna start teasing that. So if you like playing video games, you're looking forward to the NCAA game that's coming up, just put that back of your head. We might be doing something that's gonna cover possibly tens or hundreds of people.
I love it. Hey guys, and here's the thing: we've got a lot of stuff coming in the future as well. Bomber and myself together, along with some other guys that we work with quite often. So expect to see a lot of new things and a lot of changes coming from both of our channels coming up as well. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm a PlayStation guy. There's somebody asking PlayStation or Xbox. I've always been a PlayStation guy myself.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have my son do it for me.
Yeah.
He's going to play with my name, and he will dominate. I'm just warning everybody.
I got a son too.
You see Bomber sign up. You see Bomber log in on PlayStation. Just know it's not me. It's my son, and he will kick your ass. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got a son like that too. So yeah, it's possible that could happen. It's possible that
I'll have to pay him a stipend though. I'll have to buy the game for him, and I'll have to give him some money so he can represent my brand.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
Kyle Visser, my first video game, bro.
If it makes a little cash, then we can probably get into it. But
so Kyle Visser, I'm just telling you, I don't know. I think I'm older because my video game was before Pong. My video game was tic-tac-toe, and that was 1974. So Pong was 75. So let's go.
That's awesome. So Tyrell says, Xbox. Come on. 60.
I don't know. I'm an Xbox guy, but I don't have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One or whatever they are. I don't have those.
Yeah, get those likes up, folks. Get those likes up. We have over 100 people in here total, I think.
Do we really?
Get them likes up. Yeah, we've
That's
got 100.
fantastic. Let me check my channel. I haven't even looked.
I hadn't checked the whole channel, but I think it's
Let me see.
Kerwin said it was 65 on my side.
So let's see how I do
You've
this.
got 28 watching. I've got 60.
Where are you seeing 20? Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Yep, I see you there.
Were you looking at that before?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever done that before.
I just pulled it up on the channel. I've got it's showing me as having like 60 something too. So yeah, 67, and then so yeah, we need a few more. Hit them likes. Hey, that's free. That's free. You know, you can become channel subscribers to both our channels as well. I know mine is as low as $2.99 a month to become a channel subscriber. I think it's
That's
about
same with ours.
Yep. So you know, there's a lot of extra stuff that comes along with that as well. We appreciate that. Hey guys, I'm enjoying all this all the time. We appreciate that. I like it that everybody's in here. Yeah, played original Pong. Yeah, listen, he was doing tic-tac. You were doing tic-tac-toe on what? Just no video
on a TV,
game?
a TV with a coax connection.
Really?
Yep.
What? It was just,
we had an Apple
what was the
One,
game
for
system?
instance. My dad bought an Apple One.
Oh, the Apple One.
But that's not where tic-tac-toe came from. It was an IBM game, and my dad had a terminal access. He worked at a government agency, and they had tic-tac-toe on a back end.
That's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. There was no Apple One. There was no, IBM or anything like that at the time. I mean, there was IBM, but not a video game platform.
Yeah.
Kim Hurst got it though. If anybody who's played the original Pong, it's the same age, really. It's just a little bit older. When you're over 50, everything shrinks down in time. Can I just tell everybody that? My days are like 10 minutes long or something.
I'm not that far off of 50 now, but I tell you, man, my first one was Atari, and we played Pong and Space Invaders and stuff. So
Adventure.
That was where I started. And then we went to Nintendo and played Super Mario and Tyson's Punch Out. You know, that was like way different. But I mean, I started off on the old Atari.
Tyson's Punch Out, the original NES.
Bro, it was the
best. Did you ever beat Tyson? Because I actually beat him.
I did. It took a while.
Yeah, you have to dodge once, dodge twice, duck, and then hit him with an uppercut.
Oh man, but you know, and on the way to there, you start off, you don't last 10 seconds, and then after a while, you have to be close, and you just can't get him finally, and then finally you do, and I think I broke the PlayStation.
So
it was a Sega system, is what it was on.
Okay, yeah, Sega's was 90s. That's okay. That's cool. Mike Smith says I had a Commodore 64. So I had a neighbor, actually. This is a little off color. Forget it. That'll be a story I'll tell you later about Commodore 64. I got some really funny stories about that. Atari 5200 was basically the Atari 2, because the first one was 2600. And that was the amount of memory each game had, was 2600 kilobits, I believe. If I have the bits. Yeah, the 52 was basically double that in processing, but the games weren't near as good as the first one.
Cool. Don, yeah, and for all the OU folks, we're about to start talking about that. I know Bomber can't stay on forever, and actually,
no, I've already stayed longer than I told my wife.
So. Yeah, don't be getting me in trouble with
no, it's not you.
With Mrs.
You're
Brown.
Not doing it. Yeah, no, my wife will not be.
Do not be getting in trouble.
I did tell her I was going to do this though. So
okay, well, good deal. Right. But no, guys, we're going to talk some OU stuff here in just a few minutes. But yeah, man, it's we've kind of gotten way off of track here. But hey, that's all right. This is what we do on a live show. We just talk about whatever, and I enjoy it. It's good stuff, right?
All right. So what do you need from me on my way out?
You gave me, what was your prediction? Let's make sure we get that.
I made two predictions. I said if the score is if the
just who you think's going to win and lose. Who's going to win and lose? Come on.
If they score 29 points or less, the winning team has 29 points or less. It's Michigan. If the winning
Okay,
team
but
has
who do
more
you
than
got
30
winning it?
points,
I don't care about what
is
don't
Washington.
qualify it. Just give
No,
me
I'm
one.
on record. I can't walk away from it. Washington's going to win by 10, and I think
Okay.
it's probably going to be something like 34, 35, 24.
35-24. Okay. Yep, that's 11. So okay. All right. Well, while you're here, I'll pick, and I've got Michigan. I'm gonna say 28-24.
See,
Michigan.
and there you go. See, I told you that. You took my idea and just made the score to match.
Listen, I hadn't made a decision yet, but I've been saying this along. I'm not brand new at this.
Hey, by
What are
the
we
way,
talking about?
Sergeant Pickles everybody needs to give him a shout out and a prayer symbol because his wife is having twins on
Hey,
Thursday, and
nice.
everybody needs to shout him out. He's such a great guy. Next
Love
time I'm
Sergeant
in
Pickles,
Seattle,
man.
Pickles, we're gonna get together.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of Sergeant Pickles as well. He's always been he's always coming on the show and stuff and putting his opinion in there. We don't always disagree with each other, but that's we didn't agree about the Jaden Daniels versus Michael Penix, but that was okay.
Well, wait a second. So let's unwind that. Right now, if you had to vote again, who would be
Jaden Daniels, bro.
I think that's crazy, Jason.
Still be Jaden Daniels
crazy.
to me.
It's gonna be. You know how we're gonna find out is who's the better pro in 3 years. That'll tell you who should have won the Heisman this year.
That doesn't have a thing to do with who is the best player this season.
Who's getting paid? Football. Who is in the college football playoff final? You got to give credit to the guy who's still playing ball.
It's not a freaking team award either. It's not a team award either.
I just don't.
Stop it. Stop.
Look, just because if you are throwing yards against teams that aren't as good, he padded his stats on 4 out of the conference games.
One played in the freaking SEC. One played in the
His 4 out of conference games were stupid dumb. He was able to get 450 yards, 450. I mean, you can stack rank all of your yards you want. Who's winning the games?
They lost. They had their losses came against teams with a total of 3 losses.
Okay, none of that matters to me. It's who's the better player.
The better player was Jaden Daniels.
Oh, brother. Okay, I love this. This is good stuff.
Freaking passing yards.
I don't think that's any. You got to look past.
At this point, he doesn't. At this point, he doesn't. But then he also ran for more than 1,100 yards. Come on, man! It's one of the best seasons in the history of college football by anyone.
Okay, all right.
I'm not even bad-mouthing Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix is unbelievable.
I think Michael Penix wins if Bo Nix isn't in the mix. He stole probably
Here's the other one too.
Look, the
there was a couple of bad games for Penix during the year.
No, hear me out though. If Bo Nix isn't in the running, Oregon doesn't have a guy that's getting votes. Penix beats him by 50% of the vote.
Oh Lord, here we go.
I'm telling you, if Penix isn't in, if Bo Nix isn't in the running,
Penix was number 2. That doesn't make sense. It was definitely one of the closest ones ever.
Because Bo Nix took all of Michael's votes. Okay, let's go. Anyways, you guys have a great night. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Hit me up, Big 12 Mafia on YouTube and on Twitter. And
folks, make sure to get over there and hit the like button there as well. If you're not already a subscriber to the Big 12 Mafia channel, I don't know what you're doing. You got to get over there and make sure you subscribe. And folks, all you Big 12 Mafia members that are here watching, please come over to the Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach and subscribe as well, man. We'd love to have you part of this community. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Everybody working together makes us all better.
Absolutely. Always fun. Always great having you on, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate the invite, and we'll talk next week.
Yes, sir. Talk to you soon.
Go Huskies.
All right, man. Later. Nathan Bomber Brown from the Big 12 Mafia. Enjoy having him in here. Enjoyed it. Tyrell, you agree with me on the Heisman talk? I'm glad. It's good times. You're gonna pass on that, no offense. Yeah, I know you don't like this channel. It's all good. See you later then. Sergeant Pickles, Oregon's ×2, Arizona, Utah barely left, now plus Texas. Best command was the best. The best team was Berserk best tournament. Oh, we're talking video games still? Yeah, ranked wins for UW. Hey, look, I don't have any problem with UW being. I thought that they definitely belonged in the playoff. I think that they definitely have a better football team. I just think that the Heisman is not a. It's not a team award, and I'm just that's where I'm at on it. That's where I'm at on it. I don't have a problem with what they did. I think they're definitely, and I think look, I would not be surprised if I was wrong on picking Michigan. I think part of it is I feel like they're kind of a team of destiny. Everybody, it seems like everybody's against them unless you're a diehard Michigan fan. So I think that they're kind of a team of destiny. I don't care. That's up to you, man. Up to you, bud. Thanks. I'm doing fine with my show. All good. Did you feel that way when Jason White won it? What? That it wasn't a team award? Yeah. I'll say it all the time. It's not a team award. Not a team award. The Heisman's a popularity contest. It can be. I think that this was look. Yeah, I'm not going to make a big argument about it. I've already said I've said why I feel like that's why it is why he won and why he should have won. I think he was the best player in the country this season. I think if you were talking about the last couple of years, I mean, yeah. I thought that it was awful. I thought that it was awful that he didn't get a top 5. He didn't get an invite to New York last year because Penix was just as good last year. You know, in fact, that his stats were right up there with it. But it is what it is, man. Texas Tech wins in Austin. When? Oh, tonight? Oh, they did play tonight, huh? Good stuff. Horns down. Horns down. That you can always get here. Little horns down. Big 12 basketball, man, is all that. It's exciting stuff. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson again. Yeah. I would definitely say that Penix he was really clutch against Washington in those games. And then I think that, when you go up against that USC squad and what they could do, I mean, you go up and put up 50 when they get 40 on you. I'm going to give you, here we go. Christian McCaffrey was the biggest snub. I agree there. That I agree with. He had a season that even Barry Sanders didn't have as a running back. Predetermined. I don't think that happened. How did that happen this year? Only one undefeated college football team left. All right. College basketball team left. Yeah, that was wrong. It was so wrong that they didn't give it to him. And look, you can sit there and say what you want. I mean, Henry was unbelievable. Derrick Henry was unbelievable that year. But how many games did you see? I mean, Christian McCaffrey had over 1,000 return yards, over 1,000 rushing yards, over 1,000 receiving yards, and all those touchdowns. There was no way that anybody else should have won that. And then, I mean, we've all Oklahoma fans have all dealt with probably what I think was the most egregious snub of all was Adrian Peterson not winning it because he was a freshman. You know, because over 2,000 yards rushing as a true freshman, he was better than freaking Matt Leinart. Get out of here, Matt Leinart. This drives me nuts. McCaffrey's still scary good. Still scary good. Yeah. There's more than just the press that does that. The votes you have to worry about more, I think, in the Heisman is just the random people that end up with votes and send them in long before, the end of the season when they have to do it. Yep. I think that was the ultimate Heisman snub. I mean, it's right there with McCaffrey to me, but absolutely freaking AD belonged. It should have been his. Should have been. They just didn't give it to freshmen then. Okay, so what does that mean? Mark Twain said this, but who you equating Samuel with? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think yeah, it's a serious problem. Knicks won the offensive P12 off. Yeah, they were ready to give it to him if he'd have won. If they'd have won the Pac-12 championship game, Knicks ends up with it. I think. Midzu. Has anybody else thought it's kind of funny the way that they're acting? Missouri of all schools, acting like they matter for some reason. That's hilarious to me. I think it's quite funny. But yeah, couldn't. And then they're saying that I saw somebody say on Twitter that the defensive coordinator made a lateral move going to LSU. Bro, come on. Let's be real. Billy got the worst. Yeah. Eesh. That's wild. Is Okie Light's grandchildren going to watch him play his final season next year? Yeah, right. Yeah. But they just weren't going to give it to them. They still don't really give them to. Yeah, I don't know. There's not usually freshmen that are that good, though, either. I think sometimes you're good enough to do it, sometimes you're not. But they just, at that time, they flat wouldn't give it to them. Hey, if Gunnar Gundy would have went to OU, that would have been hilarious. That would have been good stuff. It'd be funny that, because all the Okie Light fans would have been losing their shit about Gundy's son. Like the way that they acted about Trace Ford and Kelly, what's her name? That's so awesome. I love it. Let's see. Where's old Cody? Where's old Cody Light at? Yeah. Let's see what he's got to say about some of this. Fun. All right. So, Oklahoma fans, has a freshman ever won a Heisman? Yeah, Johnny Manziel. But I don't know if he was a true freshman. I think he was a redshirt. Oregon beats Texas and Bama if they play like they did in their respective bowls. Except that here's the thing that I think about Oregon. They don't seem to win. Pickles. They don't seem to win big games. Dan Lanning hadn't done it yet. you know? You think? I think Oklahoma probably offered him just to be petty. It would have been great. Did they officially name their DC yet? Far as I know, it's. I mean, I don't. Was it not official? Let's go look. Surely. I mean, everybody's announced it. I think there were still. Is it not official, guys? Is it not official? I gotta tell you, I'm coming in off of some other stuff. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Oregon though that they don't seem to win games that matter. I mean, they played a crappy team in the bowl game this year. This whole Liberty deal was weird. Herd commit. I don't know, man. That's a good question. Let me go into. I'm gonna jump on 3 because I know that they were talking to him. You haven't seen anything from Jay yet so far. You know he's going to be on it quick. Get on here real quick. No commitment yet that I'm seeing. Isn't that crazy that Malachi Nelson is going to Boise State? I thought that was weird. Let me see. Oh, Dave McCullough commits to Louisville. Former USC. Well, Michael Tarquin to no, they haven't gotten any commitment out of Zalance Hurd yet. The last thing that I saw on that, the last thing that's on that is that he's going to be visiting OU in Tennessee. I don't know. I think that the one place you got to feel pretty good about Oklahoma getting transferred people is going to be at the offensive line positions because of the fact that Bill Bedenbaugh builds pros, you know? Rick Wiley, you can run along anytime now. I do know plenty about FSU. What are we talking about? Run along then. If you don't like it. Hey man, thanks for coming on, Pickles. We appreciate you. Yeah. I don't think that they were still writing up the contract stuff. So why would the Nike money dry up there, Robert? I don't see that really. What up? What up? Tell me where I'm wrong there, Mr. Wiley, smart guy, telling me to S. Oh, I love it when people come on my show and tell me to shut up. Good times, good times. Clown. BB has brought a truckload of players in. Yeah, that's the one place. I mean, look, they don't play the money game so much when it comes to bid over. They're not going to overbid and stuff at Oklahoma for transfer guys, particularly. But that's where I think when it comes to Bill Bedenbaugh, because of his track record with linemen in the NFL, I mean, you could see guys coming, and Tyler Guyton is a prime example of that. Comes from TCU. He's probably going to be a top 20 pick, in the draft because of working there. So good idea. A father-son result that Phil and Chris Sims experienced? Possibly. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to make of Arch. I know that I definitely don't think that he was the number one player in the country, for sure. Some wily dude off of the other channel. He's on Bomber's channel, or else I'd have kicked him already. So I can't really do it. But yeah. Anyway, as far as Arch is concerned, I know he wasn't the number one player in the country, that's for sure. And I don't think, from what I could tell, the times that I've seen him throw this year, I don't see that his arm is as good as everybody's acting like it is. I don't know. It seems weird to me. Phil Knight's 85 years old, but what does that have to do with anything? Because that money is already gifted to that university for long after he's dead. And he's got enough money to keep himself alive forever if they just got to keep his brain working on a computer. His cyborg him. It'll work itself out probably. Yeah, I don't think he's the number one player. I think that there's a reason why Sark is really wanting Quinn Ewers to come back. I don't know that he necessarily cared if Quinn came back before. What do you guys all think? What do all you Oklahoma guys think about the DC thing, though? I know that I'm now Sooner Legends. I know that you were happy about the firing, or the mutual parting of ways with Ted Roof, right? I don't necessarily have a terrible, look, I didn't have a big problem with Ted Roof, but I definitely like the idea of Zach Alley, for sure. I like the idea of Zach Alley. I think he's going to be a great recruiter. They're calling him a clone, though. They're calling him a clone. What do y'all think about that? He's a BV clone. Somebody was in there talking smack about BV earlier, too. Love the new hire. Yeah, I'm not seeing that it's official just yet, but it looks like I think it's happening. So, yeah, they're still saying planning to hire Zach Alley on Sooner Scoop. That's the last I saw from ESPN as well, and CBS. So I don't think it's official. I think they're just ironing out the contract details. Switzer was 33. Yeah. Yeah, I actually was watching. I watched a couple of or parts of games that they have up on YouTube earlier today. Kind of what they've done the last. It looks like the same defense that you saw at Clemson and what you're starting to see at Oklahoma. BV's mini-me. Yep. Recruits his butt off. Look, man, he's young. He's got a lot of energy to do it, right? I think he's got a lot of energy to do it. And I think that, it's pretty clear that BV modeled himself into it. So, yeah, Roof was a detriment in recruiting. Yeah, I can see that. Why was there so much hate towards Levy this year? There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. I'll tell you the main one. I don't think that they ever fell in love with them. And a lot of it had to do, it's the same reason that a lot of people didn't fall in love with a lot of people did not fall in love with Dylan Gabriel either. Because it wasn't Lincoln and Caleb. I think that that's pretty much all there is to it. I think that Lincoln the shine should definitely be off of Lincoln Riley a little bit after the way everything went. But in my opinion, where it got really bad this year with Levy, and I'm not a huge fan of the way he called some of the games, particularly the losses. But I also think when you had a top 5 overall offense in the country, there were some times that there were some other things. But yes, here's the reason. Parker Thune started it. I'm so sick of Parker Thune. I'll tell you guys, he gets on my last damn nerve. 1 foot out the door after the Briles. But it's not, was it a real incident though? This is the question, Cracker Mac. This is the question there. Because you heard Joe C saying that was a predetermined, that wouldn't be happening kind of stuff. Do you believe that? Because I don't. I don't for 1 second think that was the case. I think that was a reaction to Parker's picture hitting Twitter and then Oklahoma fans losing their shit about it, as if prior to that night, Oklahoma had been a beacon for women's rights. Come on. Yeah, I don't really pretend to know who can coach. I mean, I think that I think that where you are on this, on the higher wise, I think that the country's saying, or the people that have had him around are saying they love him as a coach. They liked him at Boise when he was the linebacker coach. They liked him his first year at Louisiana Monroe. He had a really good, they were good at Jacksonville State this year. They were in the top 30 in scoring and total defense. So I think they were top 15 in scoring defense or something like that. So it is what it is. Parker starts a lot of shit, though, right? I mean, he's always starting shit. I'm just not a huge fan of Parker Thune. But in the end, I also think that Levy kind of had his part in it as it went along. I think that I wasn't always a fan of the way he called plays, right? I felt like, I'm not a fan of the jet sweep. If you're not at least going to have some kind of a vertical threat with it, that was part of it. But yeah, as far as the defensive coordinator is concerned, I like him. This is yeah, I'm with you on this. Can't wait to see if he answers questions they're as long as BV's. Everything that I've seen, not quite. Nobody's as long-winded as BV, I don't think. But I think he and maybe that's a good thing. He's going to get his point across as he gets it across, and a little quicker. So I think it's funny. I was fixing to say that made you super happy. You've been talking about you were waiting for him to get the axe for weeks. Yeah. You think he will, Punk? You still think he will? I think he's going to be a hell of a recruiter. I don't think that's a problem. But I also think that it sounds like this is Venables kind of handing over the play calling, because this is the guy that's probably going to call it, having spent 7 years with Venables. Right underneath him is his assistant. I think it's going to be, I like it. Anybody, anything to take a shot at Tebow is fine with me. Fine with me. I think it's a good get too. I think it's a good get. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they want him to call it more. He may not give it up completely right away. And I think at all times you got to figure that he's going to have veto power, and he's going to let it be known if he doesn't like what they're doing. But I think that you would expect him to kind of do it the same way. But Michael Tarquin, I like him, man. He was a good player. He was a good player at Florida. So I think that the reason that he wasn't probably as good at SC last year, I mean, you could probably put that on the yoga instructor, that they weren't working them out as hard. That could have been some of it. Yeah, he was good at Florida. What up, Eric? What's up? What's up? Yeah. Slowly he'll hand it off. I could see that. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I think you're probably right there. I think that that's where he's, I'd like to see him more involved in the rest of the team, and how the whole thing is going. One thing I'll say about the whole new situation with the offensive coordinators, I like it that there's two of them, but I really don't like. I'm really not a fan of all this. Everybody's got their carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. Play the best guy. Play the best guy. Been in play for a while. I think that's clear that it's been in play for a minute. Didn't sound like it was something that was brand new, because I mean it took all of 10 minutes to freaking make the announcement after they announced that he was leaving. So pretty clear. Roof was there to help BV for a short time. Yeah, I agree. I think he was a stopgap type of guy, right? But speaking of, you guys were bringing up Parker, OU Insider on freaking schedule, right? I saw it on Instagram. They were one word to describe the Ted Roof's time at Oklahoma. Like just hoping that, starting shit. You could just tell what it was. And you had a bunch of people trashing him, which again, look, I'm not necessarily in agreement. I think that it was, you're going to have a hard time finding anybody that didn't like Coach Roof in that locker room, players included. But I also don't think that he was probably the best motivator and as much of a fit with this group of guys, maybe, that coaches anyway. I think they definitely made a good move. I think it's a good move. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't have a big problem with, but I don't think it's necessary for us to stomp all over Ted Roof's grave on his way out either, which I think Parker was doing. What an ass. Yeah. Yeah. What I don't understand about the Levy thing is, why do people have to trash DG to defend Levy? I think that to defend Levy? I don't know. I think that both of those guys caught their fair share of hell. We said it on this show that I think that DG's goodbye to Oklahoma was a bit of a middle finger to some of the fan base. He didn't say thank you and love you and blah blah blah. He said you held me to a higher standard and I was better for it. So Andy Bass getting Gatorade Player of the Year. He was a bad dude, man. Andy Bass is a bad dude. I think so. I think so, Bryant. Mike. Oh man, that's good stuff. That is good stuff right there. Yes, for sure. Levy's a great offensive mind, and he made mistakes. DG made mistakes, but he wasn't terrible either. No, I think that people should. I think that. Well, this has been a no strays for DG zone for a long time, and it started off that way with Levy too. I think that Levy made mistakes as well, and it's possible that while I don't believe that was a rule for Jeff Levy about Art Briles, I don't believe that at all. If it was, then that was a mistake on Levy's part. I'll never believe that was the case because a lot of it just because of the way that Levy responded. He was not okay with that. He immediately was very offended by the line of questioning. He was very defiant about that. And then the next day he comes in and it's, well, I'm sorry, and being I think that, and it also, you didn't hear that coming from Brent Venables either when they asked him. So I feel like if that would have been agreed upon, then Venables would have said something and Levy would not have been so defiant about it at first. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. What's up there, Boom Time? Ted Roof could be a superstar reading bedtime stories. Yeah. You guys are funny, man. Yeah. OU men's basketball has been awesome this year. They have indeed. I didn't say he was the best. DG wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst either, bro. He wasn't the worst either. He was what he wasn't was Caleb Williams, and I think that was his biggest sin for all you DG haters. For all you DG haters, it was the fact that he wasn't Caleb Williams. That was his biggest sin. That's just my belief. And I'm going to stick to that one. Yeah. They've been real good, though. Yep. Yeah. 33 more days. Do they win it again? Do they go undefeated and win it again? I think they win it again, don't you guys? Yeah. Who did they lose today? Eric, who did they lose? Let's take a look. Let's see. 1-0 in Big 12. Let's go look at Let's go back and look there. Who all went in there? Yeah, there you go there. True that. He threw 3 though and had a turn. He had a fumble though. But look, here's the one thing I will say about Jackson Arnold versus DG. Jackson's upside much higher, right? I think his floor is higher. Now, having a big arm like that can also get you in trouble, as we saw in the bowl game, right? You know, that clown that was in here earlier talking a bunch of crap about BV and the defense looked not that bad. I mean, most of those scores were direct results of the turnovers. You know, one of them was absolutely off of the turnover, 88-yard interception for a TD. I don't have a terrible problem with Jeff. I don't. I think there was times that the only thing that I had an issue with, and I think that a lot of this had to do with the fact that he was pretty new calling plays or, completely calling them by himself. And it seemed like a lot of the time that whatever his goals should have been, when he got to it, he didn't continue with it. It just didn't seem like he had. To me, there were times I didn't think his plan was very good. When he was locked in, he was really good. Texas game, he was unbelievably good. I think that he looked really good against West Virginia and TCU, some of those other games that, throughout. I think that he called a good second half against BYU once Dylan went down. I think he did a good job with that. But yes, I believe that the difference between DG and Jackson is that Jackson's he's got a big arm. And I said it a lot, and I would say this about DG is that for you not having an arm that you don't have, which it's not anything like Jackson Arnold's, you can't afford to be late. And when he was late and not making the throw on time, then yeah, they were gonna have to wait on it. They're gonna have to wait on it. I'm not worried about the DC. Yeah, I'm not either. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm going to tell you this. As I really like Jackson Arnold, I'm telling you that I think Hawkins might end up being better because he's faster, same size, pretty much, same arm. I think he's going to push him. I think that the job belongs to Jackson. I think that you're going to have to be way better to take it away from Jackson, starting off, right away. Because freshmen don't start. It's just not how you do it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they would. They should have anyways, though, Bryant. Really? Think about it. They should have anyways. If it hadn't been for the last few turnovers. Look, when he threw the pick six, they're up 11. They're in the red zone. It was a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. But if you're the offensive coordinator in that situation, why are you throwing the ball there? Run the ball. I think that you guarantee yourself once you're in that area right there, I think you need to make sure that you don't put him in the situation to throw a pick there and kick a field goal at the very worst and turn it into 14. Those last two were the ones that hurt the most. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Hey, listen, that's what I was saying, because I think that they're going to make it hard on Jackson. I think that's a great thing, by the way. The more competition you have in that room, the better. Iron sharpens iron. Make it hard on everybody. I think Hawkins is a dog, but I think that Jackson's going to be really good. I do. I don't think that Kevin Sperry gets in front of Hawkins. I'm just going to tell you. I like Kevin Sperry a lot. The dude could spin it. He's not going to beat out Hawkins for the job right away. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Love the quarterback room. Love it. Hey, I think that the more competition you bring in there, the better. And nobody's even said anything about Zerberg. That guy looks good too. Have you guys watched his film? Dang. He can spin it too. And he can run. They all can. That's the good thing about Jackson too. He can run, but nobody's running. None of them are running it like Hawkins. And the thing about Kyler, Steve, you're saying Hawkins equals Kyler, except that he's got him by about 40 pounds and freaking a few, he's taller too. He's a 6'2" guy. Kyler was what, 5'9", 5'10"? It's a different dude, man. It's a different dude than you've seen. A lot of fans think Hawkins will transfer out. No, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I don't see it. I don't think so either. I think that I think he's competitive as hell. His dad played the league for over a decade. This dude is a stud athlete, man. His dad was a stud athlete. I mean, he comes by it natural. He's a stud, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talking about Zuberg? He's good too, Kenny. Yeah, play styles. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Man, that's the. I mean, look, go watch that film. Hawkins can go. He flicks his wrist. He's got a big arm. He improved his completion percentage by a lot. He's not afraid to leave out of that pocket, which is a good thing because it's going to make you have to do a lot of things, right? It's going to make you have to do a lot of things. What's up there, Professor? Oh, we're just talking a little bit about the new coordinator and some of the players that are coming in. Well, right now, we're talking about quarterbacks and who's going to be where. You know, Michael Hawkins, whether or not Sperry's going to jump in front or whatever. I think that, yeah. So wait, I think a lot of fans say, oh, because of sitting behind JFA, and I've seen rumbling from fans about what? But from fans about like Sperry jumping him and making him like transfer. I know a lot of people think a lot of Sperry. I like Sperry. I like his game. I mean, I think he's got a lot of moxie. He's got a hell of an arm. And I know that Levy loved him. But I also don't see Sperry as the guy that's gonna like there was no thought of him changing his commitment or anything like that. Could be wrong about this, but I think that he's committed to the program. And I don't think that he's going to be that guy that's like in a hurry that I got to start, the second I get to campus either. It just doesn't seem that's who he is. I don't know. I mean, he said, I know what he told Sooner Scoop on there. He just said that he felt like it was a great idea and it was better just to, to let Jackson go ahead and start if he doesn't stay in anyway. I think the way that I'm not positive that I know BV gave him the opportunity to stay and play and probably, but I think there very easily could have been that opportunity. It could have been also said, hey, since you have decided to enter the portal, then we probably need to get JA some time here to get the reps. I don't know. Jackson needs to be worried about Hawkins. Professor said it. Yeah. I don't disagree. I think that Hawkins is going to push him. I think you got to be a lot better though. It's like the same thing with Florida. Think about with Florida this year. I mean, not that Graham Mertz is the guy that, or not that people think as highly of Graham Mertz is what they're thinking of JFA, but they do think a lot of DJ Lagway. And you really just don't want to play a freshman right away. I think so too. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an issue that I think Tarquin, they just had a hard time on the offensive line in general. But I think a lot of that probably had to do with their strength and conditioning guy. Malika Nelson, yeah. You didn't like his film, Nunk? I didn't think his arm was great, man. I mean, he could run around a little bit and he'd throw it. I don't know. I just didn't. There was something a little odd on him. I don't think Lincoln liked him that much either. I think that's clear. Maybe. Yeah. But I think they've also been around Jackson a lot. Both of them have. So I think he would have to be a lot better than Jackson to take it away from him, Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Correct. See, and that's where I was. That's where I was at on that too. That's where I mean, that's exactly why I was that way. Is I think that competition is, I think competition is great for at every position. I think it should always be that way. I think that when you're at Oklahoma, particularly that quarterback room, your job is never safe. It should never be safe. You should have to win it. So it is what it is. Gundy's snowflake category fits Malachi-ness. Maybe so. Or Jimmy Green Beans. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be I think that's gonna be a fun little competition, man. No doubt. But I agree with you, Stephen G. I think that it has to be that way. So where's this commit from everybody's favorite ex Longhorn, Casey? You're saying they're going to play for it that many times? Tarquin's good, man. Yeah, did he have 4 years that he was there playing? No, I don't think that you can. This is a great comment right here, Copenhagen. I think that you have to embrace the fact that these guys are going to split. If they're not getting playing time, then so be it. They got to go, right? And I think that if you're not willing to come in and compete, then that tells you something, right? I think the thought was early, somebody was saying that they thought that he might leave. I think that Levy gave him an opportunity to flip his commitment, Hawkins, early, because after he had already gotten the commitment from Hawkins, then they still went out and continued to recruit Brandon Zerberg. And that would have easily, I mean, I was like, hey, but I don't think it didn't even make Hawkins blink. Right. So I don't know, man. I think it is what it is. You have to know that this is new college football. This is new college football, plain and simple. Either if you're not starting, and particularly in your second year there, chances are you could leave, right? But if it's a good situation, though, where you're coming in behind, the reason that I think you're probably not going to see a bunch of movement in the quarterback room is because of the fact that if this build continues to go the way that we think it's going to, with them recruiting the way they are on defense, now you got a new coordinator coming in here that's supposedly BV's clone. This is a good thing. They're recruiting. This is the best defensive line recruiting haul as a whole probably ever. And certainly since the Selman brothers. When you talk about the entirety of the thing, there's no way there's been a better one. So to me, you kind of have to look at that. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. What was that kid's name? He was good too. The kid. Are you talking about the kid that was from like Philly? Another dual threat kind of guy. I'm trying to remember what his name was. He was a stud though. Kansas quarterback Bell to Ohio State. Yeah. I think they kind of. Whoa! Wait a minute. Kansas quarterback. Are you talking about Daniels? Are you talking about? Because if we're talking about Howard, he got pushed out there. He was done there, and he's going to Ohio State. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kansas State for the Ohio State. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure that Will Howard's that good, but maybe he gets a little better. I think he's got a good enough arm. I'm not huge on Will Howard. Yeah, Howard. Okay. I don't think that he was welcome there. Hell, they've been trying to get him out of Manhattan forever. I think since he got there. The Cincy player? Yeah. I don't know. Will Howard was on his way. I don't think they wanted him there since he got there. They've been trying to ship his ass out of freaking Manhattan for a while now. But I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I think that what I was saying about the quarterback room situation, I could see them kind of waiting their turn just because of the fact of they're going to have an opportunity to play in a great offense. They're going to continue loading you up with running back talent, receiver talent, and you're going to play behind one of the best lines. I think the goal has to always be to get to the NFL. And while I know some of these quarterbacks are not going to wait around, if you're basically slated to be a starter at some point, and I think when it comes to Hawkins, he's probably the leader to be the starter between him and Zerberg, right? I could see Zerberg pushing his way out at some point, probably after a year or so. Because neither one of them are starting over Jackson Arnold unless they're, 10 times better. You got to be quite a bit better to get there. And then I think that I don't see Kevin Sperry going anywhere because I think he's locked in unless Venables was to get fired or something, which I don't see happening. I think he is a Sooner. So, I get it that a lot of these things could be the way that college football is today. You're going to see a lot of quarterbacks rotating around. You are. But I think the Oklahoma may have a different situation with these guys that they have in the fold for the next couple of years. If you look at Sperry's been committed, hardcore committed since last year, he's still got another year of high school. He's been, he was a sophomore and he was committed hardcore, to the point that they moved him to Oklahoma. So I don't really see it, man. It's all good. Where you been there, Hangster? Ryan Day couldn't win with Justin Fields or CJ Stroud. Is Howard better than that? No, he's not. No, he is not. Hey, man, we'll see you later, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm fixing to jump off of here. I love it. This is good stuff. Couldn't win with Justin Fields or CJ Stroud. Is Howard better than that? He is not. He is not. I think that part of that had to do with the fact they didn't have a defense, though, at that time. Don't you? There, Michigan versus the world. Of course, you'll say no, but I that's good. I like that. Pretty good stuff. I'm not a big Ohio State fan either. So it is what it is. I think that their fans are about as bad as it gets. I don't think that CJ Stroud was on Justin Fields' level when it came to college. I don't, but not an Ohio State fan. But to be fair, they literally win it last year if they make that field goal. Yeah. Yeah, because I think they would have blown TCU out too. I think Michigan completely overlooked TCU last year and got themselves in trouble and then lost. I mean, we'll see. Do I think they should? I think if you can get the kid from LSU, you get him. Yeah. I think you get him if you can. We'll see though. But here's the thing. This is where I don't have a problem with I am of the opinion that you need to build most of your team through high school recruiting, and I think they've done that. I think that you load up on as many offensive and defensive line guys as you can. particularly when you've got guys leaving out, right? I think you have to do that. Yeah, that's the kid from LSU, right? Yeah. Folks, I hope everybody's hit that like button. We got 30, still just got 32. Come on now. Come on now. No, 52. Thank you guys. 64 watching, 52. Good times, good times. Very good. Yep. And make sure, folks, if you haven't gone over to the Sooner Legends podcast, you got to get over there and check that out. Subscribe. He's up over 60 now. He's been putting in subscribers a lot by the day. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah, I heard. That's the guy. The O-lineman from Bama is that, are you talking about the center? The center that was skipping the ball? That's a bit scary. We've had enough of that crap, I would tell you. Heard him, Ferguson. Hey, man. Like I said, I think that if Bill Beatonbull likes him and he wants him to come visit, probably got a good shot at him too. So I think it's a good idea. The more the better. Yeah. You're talking about the guard. Ferguson is the guard, right? Oh, okay. Sweet. Yeah, no doubt. I like it, man. I like it. I think that you just need some depth there no matter what anyway. The offensive line, you get guys hurt, man, on the line. They're going through freaking car crashes on every play. This is kind of how it goes, you know? Really? I hadn't seen that yet, but that's cool. Yeah, I hope he did. I haven't seen it. It hasn't been announced on On3 or 247 yet. So it would be super cool, though. It would be super cool. All right. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I got to get to the other job. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one. But, hey, I appreciate everybody coming in and supporting the channel. It's always good to talk ball. Was excited about look, I am excited about this Zach Alley move. I think it's smart. You got Younger there in that position group. If he's, fiery like Brent Venables and he truly is his clone, he's going to do a really good job recruiting. And then he's also, I think the recruiting isn't a big problem on defense. I just don't think it is. I think that the main thing is to get these guys continuing to learn that defense. I think this is a guy that knows it very well. I trust in Brent Venables and his hiring. So I'm excited about it, man. I really am. I think that it is kind of a Clemson clone, right? And so they won 2 national championships with the way they were doing things on the defense there. And I think offensively, Oklahoma's better than Clemson was. I just do. So, now that's arguable too. They had really, really good receivers, but so does OU. I think I think they are definitely trying to clone what they were doing over the last 10 years at Clemson. So if we see that continue to happen, could be a good thing. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Make sure you hit that like button if you can. Guys, if you haven't already jumped over there, if you're a coffee person, you should definitely make sure you jump over to Devil Dog Brew and Beans. Devil Dog Brew and Beans, hofmedia.us/coffee. The first time orders, you get 10% off by using promo code Boomer, and always going to get free shipping as well. Look, this is a veteran-owned company that serves veterans. Very, very important to me that we have this partnership. Sooner Legends also has that partnership as well. Make sure you guys get over there, check it out. If you're a coffee person, there's no reason whatsoever that you shouldn't be buying from these guys. Great prices. The order gets to to them online. They roast, grind, and bag and ship all in the same day. So guaranteed freshness straight to your doorstep. 5% of all sales go to the Wounded Warrior Project, which is why I love this thing more than anything else. You know, it's very important to veterans like myself, and Mike as well. So get over there, check that out. That free way to help us out, though, is just to hit that like button. But as you can see, you can become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia, little as $2.99 a month. We have our official podcast merchandise as well. We also have affiliate deals with Louisiana Grills and Fanatics. So jump over there, check all those guys out, and we'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot for everybody coming in. All my newbies, man, I appreciate all the new folks that came in here tonight. If you hadn't become a subscriber already, Kenny, please do. Bryant, you same as well. I hope you guys will jump on and become a subscriber. We appreciate everybody showing up and coming in. And hey, there's old Shoddy too. We'll see you guys on the next one. Oops.